Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Tedward.
We are the Cobb Fathers, episode
13.
13.
Lucky 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Crazy.
lucky for some of our sports fans.
No, they're not.
Well, this week again, sponsored by Good Days Classic Cocktails. Visit us on the web at www.drinkgooddays.com or on our handle on Instagram, Drink Good Days, to find a retailer near you. So this week it's just Teddy and I.
Yep.
Couldn't line up a guest in time, but we will have hopefully a guest next week. But yeah, we're gonna roll right into it. There's a lot of stuff happening. We don't have to follow the sequence, but I think we should just jump into the Atlanta break.
What are you doing? All right, let's go. Let's go. I know you've been itching all week to talk about this.
So
We
disappointed.
had different outlooks on the Braves, from the last couple of episodes we've done. I was more optimistic and you were maybe a little bit more pessimistic about how you thought things were gonna go. I think I was a little bit down on the whole Profar signing at first, but then I was like, after spring training and he's looking good. I think he's going to be a good addition to this team. Not so much.
I mean,
Right.
how did they not know?
So this is the weird stuff. Is actually Cellini. I was watching his podcast this week, and their show was talking in depth about it. And what I didn't realize is that in the offseason, he trains with Tatis's dad. Right. Remember, Tatis got pinched for 80 games himself a couple of years ago. Right. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know where they're from. Dominican or wherever, what's going on down there. But if you're hanging around and you're going through off-season programs and you're going through that kind of stuff with somebody who's already been involved with, most likely with his own son who got pitched, that might not be the group you want to use for off-season stuff. But it is what it is. I don't know. The thing is, he didn't deny it, right? He's not coming out and saying,
No, they
I don't know how it
there's a
happened.
bullshit press release that he put, but I mean, hey, why do you think he had a good year last year? Maybe
Well,
that's why.
that's what I said too. I
You
said
know?
now he has a career year at age 31, and then all of a sudden gets pinched the next year. And we have seen that before, right? Laureano got pinched a couple of years ago. I can recall several players that I've followed that it's like, big year, boom, right? Very next year or that same year, they end up getting
But
pinched. So
there should be a clause moving forward. You get busted, your contract it can be voided,
sure.
and then he's suspended for 80 games.
Yep.
He can't play in the postseason.
Yep.
That's the other thing.
No pay. Yep.
He gets no pay and they signed him a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does that affect any signing bonuses or anything like that? It's not such a big deal in baseball. They don't really do that because
but you
it's guaranteed.
paid a guy
But
$42 million for
Yeah.
a 3-year deal or something like that. And personally, I wouldn't even bring him back.
Yeah.
Why would you want him anyway? Coming back, he can't play in postseason anyway. Might as well get somebody else in there. At this rate,
So you're assuming the Braves are going to the postseason?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the stat is, I sent it to you text.
Yep.
0-6 start. Only 3 teams have made it to the playoffs. 0-7, 0.
None.
Um,
Well, it'd be the first.
well,
The lineup they're putting in tonight, I'm not confident that they're not going to be.
can you remember some of these people?
I don't know a single.
I mean-
Eli White's playing right center. He's playing center. The corner outfielders though, I'm a little unsure.
You sent this.
I
you
sent
sent
it out a
this.
little while ago. I was like, who in the world? What are we doing?
We got Ozzie leading off. Azuna 2, Riley 3, Olson 4.
You stopped right there. That's not bad. The first 4. Right?
Then De La Cruz. Who was Nick Allen, shortstop? Okay, he played last night. I don't know who Fairchild is, right field.
I don't no idea.
And then I remember Trump is a
Yeah,
catcher.
He's the other catcher.
Eli White, I know they had. I never thought they'd be starting him.
Yeah.
I thought he was a defensive.
Now, your boy Sean Murphy did hit a 2-run bomb his first at bat in Gwinnett in his rehab assignment.
Yeah,
So
but
he's
when he comes back on the regular rock, he's just going to suck like everybody else. Hey, look, we were talking about earlier. I get 6 guys not hitting, 7. We got 9 guys not hitting. We don't have anybody hitting like above 220.
Slow starters. A lot of
Slow starters. Go.
Ozzy's been traditionally a slow starter. Azuna has been throughout his career. Actually, Olson was obviously last year. First half of the year was terrible. Money Mike, first half of the year was terrible. He came on late. So, I mean, this is not unprecedented, and it's not.
We have a new hitting coach.
All right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, Seltzer came out. He's like,
Yeah.
these guys know the mechanics. It's all mental, and it's still mental. Dude,
Right.
someone's getting fired.
I think it's a bit early for that, but
If they go 0-7
Yeah.
and they come home and they lose to the Marlins 2 out of 3, or you're like 1-9,
right.
0-10, You can't tell me someone's not going to get fired.
Well,
I'm not saying it's going to be Snit.
they're not going to.
He didn't put the roster together.
No.
And then again, we got Lopez hurt now in pitching.
And not only has he got inflammation, he had arthroscopic surgery today.
So he's out
to see what's going on. So that alone is going to keep him out for probably a month at least, just to go in there and scope it and see what's really going on.
I mean, the bullpen is horrible.
Yeah.
Ian Anderson pitched an inning with the Angels, scoreless.
Yep. Yeah. And Bryce Elder's back tonight.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, on paper we weren't the best team anyway in the National League.
Yeah.
And now we're this lineup. We just
went Acuna back, right?
Again, though, he can't be the savior, man. One guy is not going to carry a team.
But that first four you just described, you throw Acuna in.
But they're all hitting.
And Sean Murphy, and stop with the Sean Murphy hate, right? Stop, right? So, that's 7 guys right there, right?
Dude,
Arcia, he's shown that he's a capable offensive shortstop, right? So I'm still not throwing the towel here.
I'm not throwing it, but dude, I'm just not impressed. A is scared to trade any talent, and he's trying to do this wholesale picking up somebody. I mean, Chris Sale was a fucking diamond. Like you got lucky on that,
right?
Come on, but I'm not impressed. Profar, you should have done more due diligence.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude. AA is going to be the one wind up fucking.
Now Profar said I passed 8 drug tests last year, right? And he probably did, but that doesn't mean he didn't do it in the offseason.
It doesn't.
That means he hasn't been cycling through where prior to last season, it's all these professionals that do this, right? And I'm saying professional guys who train them, right? Where they get it into their systems, they get it out of their systems before the season starts, right? And maybe that's what happened. Maybe he was on it the year before, had a career year in San Diego, and now he was trying to go back and repeat that by going to the same behaviors, rolling the dice during the off season, and now bam. They pinched.
I think
that's what I'm thinking.
Unfortunately, the Player Association probably won't allow this, but they need to start putting contracts that are voidable if you're busted for substance abuse.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Or at least,
or
cancel,
or you're a wife beater, or adult, whatever. Like
I think there's those personal conduct policies, things like that.
They're not kicked off the team though; they get suspended, just like this guy.
Suspended.
Move.
Yeah.
And look at that.
That's not great.
I mean. Anyway, look, I'm a big fan. I want them to turn around.
Yep.
But man, all signs are showing this might be.
See what happens tonight? Keep our fingers crossed.
It might be.
Wow. Back here in the A on Friday night.
Yeah, Marlins are 4-2. We always have a hard time against Marlins.
We do. We struggle. Struggle against the Marlins. I don't understand.
The sad thing is we're 0-6, and we're still only 4 games out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't keep doing. Now these guys are like, what's wrong? You're gonna watch. I mean, Jacob just texted something about Nick Allen doing something stupid.
Oh,
the game started. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. You'll be at the game.
Yep.
I'll be down there, but I'm decided I don't want to go to the game.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I mean, this team is.
I'm excited. It's exciting opening day.
It's not your true team, so you don't have as much invested.
True.
I'm just disgusted.
I did watch the A's last night too. For Sacramento, it was just nuts to watch that.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's a minor league park.
So 10,000 people.
Wow, it's crazy. And of course, they couldn't even fill that, right? And you'd think that Sacramento doesn't have a professional team. They'd all be on board, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, plenty of empty seats last night. And, Brett Rooker hit a bomb. That was exciting, but, they lost again. They're 2-4. They got 2 more wins than the Braves now.
That really is great.
I know. Sorry.
Well, let's keep talking about this. So the big news is, the Yankees hitting bombs. One of the guys on the Reds, why they're using the torpedo bats.
Yep, torpedo bats, right. So let's talk about this. A lot of talk about this week. Look, I'm gonna side with the technology here, right? I don't think they're doing anything. Anybody who's using these bats, whether it's the Yankees or any other team, and there are several other guys who have done it now. Yankees are just obviously get the most press about it, and they had 9 bombs against Milwaukee opening day or second day, whatever it was.
I don't know. And Judge had 3 himself.
Yeah, but I mean, Judge's not using the torpedo bat.
Yeah, but
not everyone is, and I'm told that it caters to a very specific swing, right?
Well,
not everyone's going to benefit.
I mean,
a lot of guys with the in-out swing. I think a good example is Derek Jeter. And Jeter made a career out of swinging inside out, right? Meaning opposite right side. So if you have that kind of swing plane and analytics will tell you that you hit a certain percentage off that part of the bat. Why not put the most density that you can in that spot to try to make those ground outs, right? Those, ground outs to second, line drives to right field, right? Why not
Yeah.
do that? So I think it's, this isn't gaming the system. This isn't, steroid-ish,
But
controversy here to me. I think this is just
the pitchers,
using
the pitchers can do that.
well, look,
They'll figure it out.
they'll figure it out. And just like anything, though, I mean, they've raised the mound in the past. They've changed the seams. They've changed the ball. There's always things going on in Major League Baseball to improve the game, make it, it goes, the pendulum goes like this, right? It's
Always
always
sure though the ball was juiced in 2020.
several years it's been. Right.
But last
We
year
all
they
know.
deadened it. I mean, all time strikeouts.
Right.
It was like 8 guys above 300
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but like I read, like the Braves got him on order. Like, have the Braves even fucking used him?
Yeah.
Like, come on, because they personalize it to that person's swing.
Sure.
So hit more off the lower end of the bat, they're going to move that down a little.
Look, people have been. I mean, as so many of these clowns on Twitter and whatnot are like, oh, we've been using the same bats for 200 years. Not really. So they've changed the material of the bats, right?
Yeah.
The bat speeds and swing speeds are need to be a lot faster because pitches are coming a lot harder.
Yeah.
Everyone, no one used to cup out the end of their bat.
Oh
right?
yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Guys shaving the handles down.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever it is to make that, to make it personalized to you, to fit your swing speed. Right. Some guys wanted a more, even loaded bat versus end loaded, things like that.
Well,
This is not anything.
The deal is, it's still
just
ways
unique.
to say.
It's
still, that's all that matters.
And it's the spec.
I never knew, but I didn't learn. Like, I didn't know you could drastically mess with it like that.
Yeah. Just because you're changing the shape, the only criteria that it has to be a contiguous piece of wood. You can't, glue a bunch of pieces of wood together.
Right.
It has to be shorter than 42 inches, and it can't be more than 2.61 in circumference. And it doesn't say where the circumference is. It doesn't mean it's right here in the traditional sweet spot. That 2.61 can be wherever you want it to be, right? And that's what they figured out. I mean, a MIT physicist, right?
Oh, that person is going to make so much.
So, I mean, good for him, right? And this is, everyone was like dumbfounded a few years ago when analytics really came into play. And Moneyball, we've all seen Moneyball.
Yeah.
And that's a fairly accurate depiction of how it actually played out, right?
Right, yeah.
All these boomers, and you and I are there with them, shouting at clouds and get off my lawn saying, what do you guys know about baseball and all this blah, blah, blah. And if you're not hitting the 3-run bomb and pitching 8 innings, you aren't worth anything. Well, it turns out, that, what happened? Braves leading?
The Braves are up 2-0.
2-0 on the Dodgers. Wow.
In the bottom of going in the second inning.
Yeah.
What is going on here? So look, I think look,
I gotta do it, right? Because Portnoy, god damn, he's going ballistic. El Presidente, right? And I like him-ish, right, for the most part, but he can be brash, and he's just going berserk today. I saw him at yet another show where obviously he's a big Red Sox guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's going off. I was talking about this last night at Cornhole. He's going off on Twitter about, how illegal it is and how it takes away from the sanctity of the game and the traditions. And he's just going nuts, but it's really mostly about the Yankees, right? The Yankees are doing it, right?
Yeah, the Yankees are.
Devers it's 0 for 18 with 16 strikeouts, whatever it is, right? So, I mean, he's crying in his milk right now with, or crying over a beer that the Red Sox are sucking it up. And he's pissed that the Yankees are doing well and they hit 9 bombs. That's really what it's all about. He says, oh, no, it's about, it's about the baseball traditions and whatnot, and they're manipulating the system. And he's kind of trying to compare it to like steroids. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Here's another comparison I forgot to mention. Remember a few years ago when they started doing the closer first, working backwards from there?
Yeah.
Where was that? That's against tradition of baseball, right? Why would you, start with your closer and work backwards from there, right? Because you figured something out, right? Why would you not care about guys hitting 300 now? And if you're hitting 250, but your on base is 400, those are the guys I want in my lineup, right?
True.
The whole analytics and
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So remember when they didn't used to steal bases and then they stole a shitload when we were, younger?
Now they're running.
Now they don't do it anymore, and then they come back the last couple of years. So I mean, things are going to change. Equipment's going to change. Technology is really what's driving this stuff. So Portnoy, take it easy. He's claiming to be the expert here because listen to this. He goes, "Well, I won the Triple Crown in high school." That makes him the expert on what the Yankees, should or shouldn't be doing because he hit a bomb over a chain link fence in fucking New Hampshire in like,
At
1994, right?
300 feet.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break, right?
Yeah.
He showed the highlight on his show, and I think somebody, I swear to God,
Oh, God.
like he is playing himself off to be
I
the.
just like his pizza stuff.
I do too. Look, and I said, I'm not
But
bashing him.
but-
I'm bashing his take on this.
but the Yankees were still hitting bombs prior. Now they're just hitting a little bit more.
Well, I mean, they've got a ridiculous lineup.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Let's calm down and stop blaming the equipment and start, giving these guys credit for
I mean,
being who they are.
look, kudos to the teams that saw this already and they're incorporating the players, some of the players.
Yeah.
I mean, Otani's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman's not going to, Freddie Freeman.
De La Cruz did. Did you see that last night for the Reds? 2 homers,
Yeah,
2 doubles,
I saw,
7
yeah.
RBIs.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some will, but pitchers will get smarter and they'll go, all right, I'm going to go a little bit more outside. You're going to, because
Sure.
the top of the bat's going to be
Yeah.
easy peasy, get them out.
Yep.
You throw something down the middle, and that's the other thing. It went to maybe from being a fly ball to the fence.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's going over the fence.
Mhm.
That's
You're still got to hit it on the right part of the bat.
correct. But that's like where maybe it helps.
When you think about it, it makes a whole lot of sense because those last 3 inches of the bat have always been, the same circumference as probably the last 8 inches of the bat.
Correct.
No one's hitting any out.
Yeah, back right there.
Yeah, no one's hitting any out off the very end of the bat, right?
No.
That's just the way it works, right? Physics works. So they've taken that weight and they put it more, spread it out
Yeah.
evenly towards the middle, right? It's to me, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. But again,
Well, we'll see if the Braves, any of them use it. I don't think they've gotten them.
I don't think it can hurt at this point, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they might as well give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it'll be the talk for the next month because we'll see teams that are struggling at players will probably try to torpedo. Doesn't mean it's going to fix. We still
Maybe Rafael Devers should get one.
you got to
Right?
still hit the damn ball.
If he's striking out, though, I don't think it's going to help him.
Yeah, I mean,
Striking
that's
out
the other
that
thing.
much.
Strikeouts are all time high. I mean,
Yeah.
either feast or famine, and that's the problem. I mean, I was just looking at this lineup. I mean, what do you? I mean, Nick can't use Nick Allen because he just started playing.
Yeah.
So you got Arcia's on the bench tonight, 54. Baldwin, 56.
Yep.
Batting average.
Yep.
Michael Harris.
Yep.
130. Kelnick, 158. I mean, it's all right. Look, we're getting a little bit better. Oh, all Albies, 130.
Yep.
Azuna, 214. Riley, 87.
Still, let's relax.
Also, dude, dude, you're now in your 7th game. If you should start shaking the cobwebs out. I mean, I didn't follow them in spring training, but evidently they weren't lighting it up either.
Yeah.
Now they were 500, but who cared? Olsen 167. But Nick Allen, 375 right there. He's got the RBI.
That means 3 for 8. That's what that means.
He got 1 RBI.
Yep.
And evidently it looks like they had an error. So anyway, look, I want them, but man, I mean, the bullpen has been terrible. Look at Bummer, 10.8.
Yep.
I mean, they don't have the right guys for the 7th and 8th innings. I mean,
And they DFA'd Chavez.
well, we knew that was. I mean, he is done. He's done.
I watched him pitch. It wasn't terrible.
I mean,
He gave up a run and
but
2
the
innings.
problem is they can't give up runs right now.
Yeah.
As bad as they're playing, the pitchers are pressing.
Yeah.
And then the hitters they're going mental. Anyway, all right, what do you want to jump into next?
College basketball, Final Four. Here we go.
Ooh.
All number 1 seeds. If you had picked that 2.5 weeks ago, I would have made fun of you, right? I would have said, you don't know anything about college basketball. It's never all 4 1 seeds, right? There's going to be upsets.
It's been a while.
Once.
Yeah.
Once only in 2008, I believe.
I was going to say 17, whatever
Yeah.
it is, 17 years ago.
That's only the second time it's happened in the men's. Now, the women's, it happens all the time. But in the men's, it's only happened one time.
Ladies make
UConn ladies are in. Yep.
It's amazing.
So I'm not upset that it's the number 1 seeds because I think that both matchups are outstanding, right? Again, Auburn, I was really thought that they would be the first one out. They still could be the first 1 seed, right? Out. They got a tough task in Florida.
That's going to be a good game.
And then I think, again, high-powered Duke against, slow it down and play defense Houston, right?
Duke
That's going to be another great game.
Duke throttled Bama. Bama's self-inflicted, but man, they're good.
Well, Bama was due for, obviously the Sweet 16 game was insane.
There was no adjustment. You should have had a game plan like, you're not going to shoot like that. We got to settle, get 2-point shots.
Yeah.
Work on shooting. It was, I mean, for a Elite Eight game, it was actually embarrassing. You lost by 20.
Yeah.
I mean, they really weren't in the game.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Saturday night, right? So both those matchups. So I don't have dog in the fight.
I'm going to say Auburn.
Yep.
And I'm going to say Duke.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with Duke.
Okay. We're redoing our picks here. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. All
right.
What's left?
So,
my brackets. I
busted.
is pretty.
I'm still gonna stick with.
We're
still gonna stick with Auburn's the first one out because they do play first that game. So I think Florida. I can't watching Cooper Flag play the last couple.
But he wasn't just the reason they won last.
No, not at all. But he makes everyone on the court better, right?
Oh, yeah.
He is gonna be. Everyone said he's gonna be the number one pick. Broom, a lot of names thrown out there. I don't think it's even close anymore. Watching him play.
Well, I think he's number one.
Yeah.
I think what's the kid from Florida, the guard?
Yeah.
He's fucking phenomenal. Got his name. And then and Broom, he's good. Those are 3 guys, top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what.
When Broom went down with the elbow and the knee on that one play, that was weird. I thought, oh boy, because he came out, he was like, I'm done. You could see him mouth it. He's like, I'm done. But then came back in. I don't know if that's a Willis Reed moment or if that's just he was being a baby and hurt my.
That's my.
I tend to go with the latter.
I mean, he's kind of he's an emotional guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wants the attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that's how he operates. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, isn't the highest ratings ever for matchup? Yeah, I mean, so.
I mean, this is what TV's asking for, right? They, as much as they love upsets, they love the Cinderella story. When those upsets get a certain, get too deep in the tournament, they're going to get shellacked, right?
They would like a Florida Duke matchup.
Sure.
For TV, it kind of gets more, but
that's what I'm going with. Florida Duke, and Duke wins it.
Yeah, we both got Duke, so we'll see what happens. But like the portal's open now. I mean, nobody. I said
it earlier. There's a guy, I can't forget what his name is. He was at South Carolina for 2 years, went to Ohio State, went back to South Carolina. Now he's back at Ohio State, or maybe he's back at South Carolina. I can't even keep track.
They got to stop it. They got to.
That's the crazy part. I've seen plenty of guys that have been 5 schools, 5 years, but this is 2 schools, just back and forth. Can't you make up your mind which one's actually better? That screams to me. Who's ever paying this guy a little bit more? He's going to flip flop back and forth, right? It's crazy to me. Well, I think that you would do that every. Again, we've talked about this at length. How do you make any kind of, fusion with your team? What's his name? Michigan State's coach talked about that this week.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it. It was one of his kids.
Was it
in the portal?
He got up there and said,
like one of his best players.
Yeah. We were so good this year because we played together and because we've grown together as a team and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden, bam, is one of his best guys.
Which is crazy because he's just going for the money.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, this is why your guy left, right? This is why Bama football there has now got a new coach, right? He was tired of this stuff, Saban, and then
it's going to be like that.
I think a lot of these older boomer coaches are going to say the same thing. They're like, I can't.
Old school. I mean, Kirby Smart's old school. I'm calling it. He's not going to be at Georgia within 5 years.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to get fed up because it's just,
but it's going to be the same way, right?
Oh, I think he's just going to go to the NFL.
Then
that's what I think.
I don't know if he's cut out for the NFL, to be honest with you.
The money will be there.
Yeah. Let's say he's not a good coach.
He might be. His
personality, I think,
he might be the coach of the Falcons.
That would sign some people up.
Yeah, and we might actually draft some friggin' Georgia players.
Sure.
But yeah, it's we'll see. That goes into like dovetailing in to NIL.
Yeah, the whole NIL thing, right? So yeah, we talked about it a little bit. We exchanged some messages earlier. I've done a little bit of research. I didn't know all the rules and the ins and outs. I also wasn't prepared for the changes that are coming next year. So to date, since 2021, since they started doing this, the schools could not pay them directly out of. Yeah, they had to go through these incentive funds, right? Or collectives, as they're called.
Collectives, yep.
NIL collectives. It's just a big booster club is what it is, right? But it gives fans, it gives boosters, it gives, honestly, anybody, right, the ability to donate, and then that money is directed to players at the discretion of the coaching staff. And I don't think it can even be involved really with the administration. I think they kind of call the shots there, which
It's
to me, it's just,
the administration doesn't, because I'm kind of familiar
Yep.
with KSU about it. So they kind of, the athletic director is kind of a little bit part of the, where the money goes, but there's a person designated who runs the collective outside of the university. It can't be part of the
but who
university.
ultimately decides if you're recruiting a kid and he gives you a number, you decide on,
Pretty sure it's
does the coaching staff have to go back to this collective and say, I need this much to sign this kid? Or do they just say, here's all the money, coach, you do what you need to do?
I'm not, I think it's probably a combination of both,
Yeah.
depending on the program, so
I mean, it was to me on the premise of NIL, right? Name, image, and likeness, right? It's
none of that.
It's really none of that anymore. I mean, it's you can loosely say that. Well, basically, this should be to me. If I'm going to use you in an advertisement, I'm going to use your picture, or I'm going to have you on TV spots, or I'm going to have you do some promotional work for the school. I'm going to sell jerseys that have your name on the back, right? I'm going to do a TV spot with you, whatever it is, something that directly ties you to that school, then
That should be it.
that should be it.
I
That
agree.
should be it.
That's what it was supposed to
And
be.
we should be leaving all this separate stuff out because there's no rules or regulations. It's the Wild West. I mean, these collectives, right? These booster clubs, if you will. There's no limitation to what that they can generate, right? Some of them though have set lofty goals because they want to be able to compete. And there's a lot of schools out there who don't have enough money, who have just not been successful enough, probably because they haven't put the product on the field. They're a victim to their own to other schools' success that, hey, we got to keep up with the Joneses, right? We have to have, 20, 40, 60 million dollars, whatever it's going to be, so that I can sign these players so that I can compete. Well, if you don't get that and you're not putting a winning product on the field, people are less,
Well,
are less willing to donate,
what
right?
is it? Ohio State spent 20 million or something.
Ohio State
They got a
is by
national
far,
champion. They got a national championship.
by
in it.
far
Um,
the biggest pot of gold.
I mean,
Right?
Texas spends a lot of money too.
Yep.
I mean,
I think a lot of the Power Five schools do.
Yeah.
The second tier, right? The next five, or those conferences.
Well, the
don't have
mid majors
nearly
are
the
done.
budgets. Yeah,
I mean, just
mid-majors.
like that's what happened. Like March Madness was all about mid majors, 4 years playing together, making a run, and all they're doing is playing 1 year. That the best player is moving into a Power Five.
Yep.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the landscape of the NCAA is going to change a lot in the next 5 years. And when that TV contract's up, I think it's within the next 5 years, less than 5 years. I think you might see a whole new. They may just pull away.
Yeah.
It's a Power Five. That's what people want to see anyway.
Yep.
It's terrible. It's sad because that's not what collegiate sports are supposed to be.
No, a lot of changes coming next year for scholarships.
Are they reducing them?
So no. Well, in some cases, yes. In some cases, no. So
you still get a scholarship and you get paid?
well, maybe, right? You can. But here's how this works. So certain sports were considered head count sports
Right.
prior to next year. They are currently in that system.
Right.
Head count sports meaning if you get a scholarship, it's a full scholarship, but you're limited to a certain amount of those, right?
Right.
Basketball was 12. You could have, I think, 18 kids on the roster, but the rest could not get any money. They were walk-ons, or they
were walk-on.
they were in-state kids, or whatever they were. They could not get any money, as opposed to like baseball, which was an equity sport, right, where they can share the scholarships across all players if they want to, and they can determine how much to do that. So baseball for years, last several years, has had 11.7 baseball scholarships.
What the fuck's
I know, 11.7.
Why didn't you just say 11, 12?
It's just the way it is. 0.7.
So
and
basically, a lot of kids are getting
partial
quarter,
So yeah,
quarter or half max.
they were spreading that out across, I believe it was 27 or 28 kids out of a roster of 30.
That's a lot of
Now,
kids.
as COVID came, they bumped that roster limit to 40. So you had a same 11.7 scholarships for 20 or 30 kids, but a roster limit of 40. So now what they're doing is there's no more collective, or there's no more head count. Say this again. Everything is head count now, right? And it's all based upon the roster limits in your sport. So, for instance, football, it was always 85 full scholarships. You could carry as many as you wanted, right?
Right.
And there was just a shitload of walk-ons. And you always got those stories about the kicker or somebody, who's a for 3 years and earned his scholarship finally.
Right.
His senior. Now the roster limit is 105. That's it. And everybody gets a full scholarship. That's it. I should say everybody can. get
Doesn't mean they give.
Doesn't mean they have to, right? It means they can, right? That's the big difference is that word can. So if you have the budget, you can give all 105 kids a full ride, but you're not required to and you don't have to.
So if
So
a
like
kid-
baseball now, baseball is an incredible difference. So it's gone from 11.7 to 20 roster size of 30.
so everybody
40.
is that full
No,
scholarship?
Now it's 34.
Full?
Roster size of 34, and you can give 34 scholarships.
Doesn't mean they will.
Doesn't mean you will.
So what about if a kid like
Well, soccer's the same, swimming's the same. It's golf is the same. Golf is now 9 scholarships.
So now they got to generate even more money to give these scholarships.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying. That some of that money we've been talking about, these collectives, may actually have to go back to the schools. The ADs and the administration of these schools might say, "Hey, wait a second. The NCAA, it's all part of the same verdict, right? It was House versus NCAA,
Right.
Case
Right.
that changed the platform for both of these for NIL and now for scholarships, right? So I mean, it's swimming, it's soccer, it's think about every single sport, whatever your roster size is, right, that you're limited to. Everyone can get a scholarship. They won't have to, but they can.
So here's my
And D1 only.
here's my question.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Okay, you got your quarterback at your college team. He's getting $3 million a year. Why is he getting a scholarship?
Yeah.
Why can't he just write a check and they can move that scholarship to someone else?
Right.
Why are they getting, if they stay 4 years, which they don't, a $200,000 to $300,000 college education, and they're getting millions of dollars?
Well, and here's what also is going to happen next year. It's a good tee up. So next year, again, in 25-26, now the NCAA, again, because of this House versus NCAA lawsuit, is going to be able to do real revenue sharing of athletic revenue, right? So up to 5 million per school in D1, right?
This
So
is an additional
This
of all
is in
the
addition to the other stuff. Now, again, grant some of that collective money may need to go back to help the universities fund actually the full scholarships, right? Because if you think about that, that's you know 20 or 30 extra scholarships in no 20 extra scholarships in football, right? A whole bunch in baseball potentially, right? And you don't have to, but if
and basketball's still 12.
no basketball is 15.
But
Now they've reduced the roster size because KSU had 18 guys this year. Next year they will only have 15. They will be limited to 15, and you can give a scholarship to every kid on the team if you choose to, if you have the money to. Right?
they actually picked up a decent guy
Did they?
yeah, for basketball.
So we'll see. So now, yeah,
I mean, I think we gotta this is a very complicated.
it is very complicated.
I mean,
And I think
if
some
you-
of it's still a little bit fluid because they haven't quite worked out all the details. But that is, as of today, that's what's going to happen next year is that, say, University of Georgia, $178 million revenue from sports.
for all your sports. That's it. So and then
Yeah.
now and they can divvy that out. Of course, they want to make money too. They're not going to divvy every dollar out.
Well, and we know that those same statistics tell us that the football and men's basketball get 90% of that money, right?
That's insane.
Yeah, that all the other sports at UGA or Bama or wherever,
What about the school?
Fighting for
What about the school, the basketball school versus football? You
Right,
think
yeah.
The basketball's got to be getting more. Well, no, it's only a smaller roster, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. They could just pay a little bit more.
Well, all right, so Villanova, for instance, right? They're D1 basketball. I'm not even sure they have a football team. I think they do, but it might be FCS.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's I don't think, again, if you're a school like that, or think of one that has St. John's. St. John's, I don't think has football, right? They have basketball, right? They have baseball.
Maybe they got a really good lacrosse team.
Maybe, yeah. Lacrosse, I think the roster.
No way.
I ran through every sport to see what the roster limits were. Everything kind of met in the middle, right?
So here's my question: do you think NIL is helping the sport or not? Yeah, these kids getting paid. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid. It needs to be more managed. That's part of why.
Oh yeah,
saving
absolutely.
lefts, like Footloose, this and that. I mean, it's kind of like what the NFL does.
Yeah.
Like, here's your cap.
I'd like to see if they're going to now have revenue sharing, right? Why not just say, here's your slice of the pie? Because that's what they've been bitching about for a long time.
Yeah.
Students were saying people are taking advantage of us. The universities and the NCAA is taking advantage of us because they could sell a jersey with number 4 on it
Yeah.
for Alabama,
They
and
wanna
Melrose wasn't getting a penny
They
for it,
wanna-
right?
And
Now
I'm
he was-
okay with that.
now he
Like,
was
let
getting
them
a
get the
scholarship.
money.
But it's all this outside stuff to me that is just crazy because you can have some, guy who's worth $500 million. He doesn't care, right? He's going to go for Texas. He's going to go throw $1 million.
I'll give you 50 million.
In this collective, and they're going to be able to get whoever they want. I mean, it's crazy. So it doesn't do anything for leveling the playing field and so the fairness of the game. I think to me, I would rather just see, look, every school is limited to this much that they can give away, and having it tied to revenue to me makes perfect sense, right? And then again, can you prevent a kid then from saying, well, can I go to a car dealership and get, a car, an endorsement to, at my local Cadillac dealer?
You can do
They can't do that now. And I'm saying I'm almost okay with as well. But what's the difference if that Cadillac dealer gives $2 million to the collective and it's dispersed, or if he gives $2 million directly to a kid because he knows that kid's going to come here and go to Ole Miss or wherever, right? So if he's Oxford Cadillac, right, and he wants to pay some 5-star $2 million to come be the spokesman for Oxford Cadillac, right? What's to prevent that? So I think we probably need to eliminate all that external
to be
stuff.
reined in. But I'm also going, do we feel like the players are getting developed? Because I see they're just going dollar signs. Go to. I mean, it's going to happen to Georgia, Alabama, all the big schools. If you're a 4-star, you used to have to wait 2 years.
Yep.
I'm not waiting anymore.
No.
They go to Arkansas, which is still a nice program, but they're top. They're on the top of the heap there, but they're not getting developed.
No.
I'm not saying obviously college football. Not everybody gets the opportunity to go to the NFL. I think that's part of the reason why the product in the NFL, when they on the draft and these players aren't turning out, because they're not getting developed anymore. Because it's all about the money.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, 5 schools in 5 years is just insane to me. I just don't.
And there's no way that person's going to be, potentially. I mean, if they go pro, whatever. But I don't see. I wouldn't even want that person. Yeah. Would you?
No.
Says you can't. It says exactly what you did. You went for the money, not the.
Well, this is like job jumpers in the job market, right?
You see these guys. Yeah.
You see these guys that every 8, 10, 12 months they're somewhere else. You look at their their LinkedIn profile and you're like, holy shit, dude! You in 12 years you've had 6.
Which isn't good either.
It's crazy. What are you doing? What did you actually do?
And what did you learn? Because I mean, it takes you 6 months to learn a job while you're there, and to be really effective, it's like 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
If you're leaving already after
the
12
guys
months,
are chasing titles and they're chasing money. Right. That's
I think today more of them chasing a title versus money, which is nuts to me. I'd rather have no title. You can call me the dishwasher.
Exactly.
Chief
bottle washer.
Big money. So
yeah.
All right, let's roll into the snack, man.
All right. So we went back and forth a little bit on the snack, and I know we did peanuts yesterday, and I know we talked a lot about the Braves, right? But I'm a fan, and I know you're a fan.
Oh yeah,
of these guys right here, right?
And look at that.
See, I told you
the Braves are up 5-0.
I said if I bring these tonight, they're going to bring the Braves good luck.
Holy smokes,
what's going on? So these are Hampton Farms is the current vendor who makes these buttes. You can get them at the games, obviously, but you can also get them at Kroger and at Publix. I got these at Publix this week. So let's do this. We know what we're getting into here. They kind of make a mess. That's why it's nice at the ball game when you can just throw put them in at the
it's got the perfect balance of saltiness.
Look, I'm a big fan. You know what these are great for? It's kind of a time filler, right? I can sit here and
I'll tell you though, when I eat a whole bag,
the next day,
the stomach, everything.
Not just the stomach. Yeah. The disposal process. And it comes back to bite
Cellini. Yeah. We appreciate the peanuts from last week. These are probably better.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
Now, have you ever had a bad bag of those?
Oh yeah, when they're bad, they're terrible.
It's like you see them sometimes at the grocery store, they're on sale.
I like the bottoms.
And then you grab them and you start eating them and you're like, what the hell is with these things? Like there's definitely a shelf life to these things, even though they're dried peanuts and whatnot.
But yeah. Big fan.
Hey, look, and they're made, grown right here in Georgia.
Right? Right there.
Yep, supporting the state.
All right.
Braves.
Braves are winning. So if they win tonight, they could be still in the hunt for the playoff.
And we might get a new sponsorship from Hillshire Farms. No, what's it called? Hampton Farms. Hampton Farms. Good job. Shout out Hampton Farms.
All right.
Outstanding peanuts.
I'll give it a.
What are you giving it?
I give it a 4-3.
A 4-3. I'm going to go 4-1.
Yeah, solid.
Peanuts. They're very solid. I mean, I'm going to eat half that bag tonight as we sit down here because they're that good.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
All right, so I wasn't at cornhole last night. I'll tell you where I was, but how did we do?
So we had our best performance of the year,
And we still lost.
and we still lost. Yes, we still lost,
But
but
we lost to the best team.
we did.
Right?
This team was.
They better than the woman,
I mean,
the mom and son.
I think up and down the roster, absolutely. They had 3 really good players. So we played the first 2 guys, first 2 games, and we split. They beat us pretty handily first game. We beat them pretty good second game. Then they brought over this other guy.
The ringer?
I mean, he grabs his bags. I think he had 2 warm up rounds. It was like a 10 and a 12. And I was like, all right, you're good. We don't need more warm ups, right? But I was able to hang with him. He was on my side. I
We
think
just haven't had a match like
we haven't had a match where everyone
everyone-
gets it together all at the same time, right? Because we were a little bit up and down last night, but I think overall the performance was pretty good. But yeah, we had a 12-0 lead in game 3 and let it slip away. I think it was 21-15 or 21-16, something like that.
They put a run on.
Oh yeah, they put a big run on us. Yeah.
Are we playing next week?
No, we're off next week for spring break, and then we'll be back the following.
That's awesome.
3 games left,
All right, 3 matches. Okay.
3 matches left, and then playoffs. So we determined last night. First of all, we played 3 matches, and the way this works is we're playing at a brewery, Bluff Brewery, great spot. We all just take turns picking up the tab. There's one guy, which I'm not sure has picked up the tab this year.
I haven't been there yet.
One guy
Yeah.
who hasn't. So, but we determined this last night. Once we all pick up 1 tab, which you'll get next week or the following week,
Oh,
they have this game there that is you've seen it, where you take a ring on a string, right?
yeah.
And you flip it, right? And it
Yeah.
has to hit the hook and it stays on there, right? Well, they have a 4-headed one, right? 4 different ones going at the same time. So we said, hey, you know what? This might be the way we're going to determine who picks up the tab every week, right? We can open the tab, and at the end of the night, one take. First of all, I told Todd last night, I said, well, let's just go, we'll play till 3. Well, no, we had to play till 1. I mean, that son of a bitch we are flinging it and flinging it and flinging it and flinging it.
Good.
Todd made his, Mike made his. So if we had done it that way, I would have picked up the tab last night. So I think that'll be kind of fun.
All right.
Add a little bit of chance to who picks up the tab. So
Well, I'm glad there's no match next week
yeah, you
because
have.
I got X golf. So I was at X golf last.
Tell me about X Golf, right? So is it one of these indoor?
It's indoor, but it's like the TGL that's on TV.
Yep.
Which I won't watch.
Undulating. Does the floor change?
No, that's really expensive. So here's the deal: you pick any of these courses, boom.
Like famous courses, not like made up bullshit ones, right?
Yeah.
You
You
can play Augusta.
we
You can
we
play
did something. I
Pebble
forgot
Beach,
which
you
one
can
we
play-
did
yeah.
yesterday. So they had this tournament. We're sponsored. Good Days. They had a light turnout, but it was still fun. But dude, I'll tell you, the irons and the distances were pretty darn close to what I would normally hit on the golf course.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
Yeah.
The putting's a little tougher
So
because
you bring your own clubs, or it's like
they have clubs, but my buddy Mike came and I just used his clubs. I brought my driver, and the putting's the hardest part because it's not like
put it into a screen.
putting into a screen, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But my guy Justin was there, our market manager. He was pretty good. He beat us on the back 9 by 1, but he crushed. I think it was even on the front.
Really? Wow.
A lot of fun. Definitely will go up there and hang out on a weekend or something. I think they'll be fine. It's part of I think Paige Sporanic is one of the owners. So it's a franchise. Unfortunately, for them to get her there, it's 18 grand. But boy, if they can get her there, there'll be people out
Lights
the
out.
door.
Lights out. Yeah.
So they're already booked up for the Masters Thursday and Friday next week.
Yeah.
But just a cool thing. Like
So it's like a sports bar too. Like you got TVs,
They got-
bars.
we got TV, there's some food, like apps.
So it's like Top Golf, but you're hitting into it's like Top Golf, but a simulator,
Yeah.
right?
But it's pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
It was a lot better than I enjoyed it. It was a lot more fun. I thought it'd be.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm looking forward.
And,
to it. Yeah, And I saw you guys had some Good Days bucket specials going on.
Yeah, 4 for 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Good.
bad. Not
That's
bad.
really good. Jesus.
Yeah, and these guys are great. John over there. You actually can get lessons there. There's a golf pro there.
Really. What's it cost? Is it expensive? Or you don't know last night you were at
He didn't charge me because I'm.
But do you pay by the
Pay by the
hour, or
hour,
you pay
yeah.
by the
I feel like it's like an hour by the hour. I don't think it's like that bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you get some buddies together. How many people could play? I mean, is it made for 4, or could you bring like a whole office there, or
well, you could get a number of bays.
Sure. But I'm saying, is it just
I mean, you could do as many as you want. It just takes forever.
forever? Yeah.
I mean, 4 is probably the right number.
Right.
But you could,
I guess to me, is it size wise? Like how many seats in there? Is there
yeah,
a little table and
you know, there's a table. You got a table right in front.
Yeah.
Where you playing. I mean, I don't even think I sat down. That I was buying drinks for people and
Sure.
introducing myself. So, but pretty cool concept. So,
And where's it? Alpharetta?
Alpharetta, you go up McFarland, get off McFarland. When you go north, make a right. It's like not new.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hacienda. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty cool spot. People live right above. Like
Yeah, yeah.
people came down and
Yeah.
drink
We
up.
go there for lunch sometimes, but I didn't know that was going in. I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We'll definitely go check it out.
Awesome. X golf, right?
X golf.
Alright.
We'll tag you on
Yeah.
our post. We were off this week on pickleball. We had a nice inter
Why were you off? Just because it was a regular buy or because
week, yeah.
Okay.
So we had a nice.
to get the heel up,
I'm
Right.
good. I'm good, man.
heel up,
I'm
and wrapped up,
back.
right?
So we
Get some of that stuff that Profar's on, maybe. Get a little CHG or whatever the hell.
I don't
it
know
is, right?
but the strategy is moving forward.
Here we go.
You have to like
Yep.
go to your strengths. Our mixed teams pretty much doesn't matter who's playing.
Yep.
Very good, really good. Women's like line, pretty good. Like definitely can beat most teams. Our men's line, we're good. We're not great. That's the line we're gonna wind up throwing. Because if we can pick up all the other points, that's gonna be fine. We're in third place.
Mm.
So top 2 make the playoffs no matter what.
So
Third,
you're right there.
no,
You're like the Braves. You're right there, right on the cusp.
but they take third place. You just have to have the points.
Yeah.
And not every third place team will make it. So
Out of how many? 3 out of 20 or 3 out of 8?
we have 7 in our division, but there's a bunch of divisions, so I don't know. We play Brookstone at Brookstone this Monday. I haven't made a lineup, but
Yep.
I'll probably play. I probably won't play the last.
Playing favorites here? People like trying to bribe you to get in the lineup. What are they doing?
I'm pretty fair about
Are you?
trying to get.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people like you don't have to put me in. They're not ready to play. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're gonna play. Put you the right partner. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, I love it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a tournament here in the neighborhood. in a couple
Mhm.
weeks.
Alright,
May.
yeah. Yeah.
May. Sort of 5 ashes. Let's think they'll dominate.
Yep.
But anyway, all right. So kind of wrap up a couple things because we still got some time. But where is Aaron Rodgers going?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I heard Art Rooney Jr.
Saying that it's
saying that like
close. And
yeah.
he was throwing in LA with Metcalf this weekend. They went and had a little private session, like, on the down low, buddy at some local high school or whatever, but they were throwing to each other. So,
How you feeling about the Steelers there?
I mean, like I said, I'm not particularly fond of signing him, especially if to anything more than a single year as a stopgap. I would just as soon get some more weapons and some more linemen and just roll with what we have. For this year, they're going to be built on defense. They need to sign a running back. They've obviously got the wide receivers now. So, there's
They signed a 2-year deal and cut him loose after 1 year.
it could be like a 2-year deal with a team option for you.
I mean, how much is that guy getting?
He's going to get a bunch, right?
Like not like 40 million.
He said he wanted 50. I don't think that was for 1 year. I think it was 50 over 2, maybe, but I don't know.
I mean, that in today's NFL,
That's
cheap.
but for a 41-year-old.
Well,
But if you read social media and whatnot, it's they're back and forth on him, but you also see shit like Kirk Cousins coming to coming to the Falcons.
Kirk Cousins was in Cleveland this past week.
Yeah, well, they need something.
So,
Yeah.
but
That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
so Kirk Cousins had another call I heard on Sports Talk this week with Arthur Mike on the phone for an hour. He's basically pleading, but I'm the Falcons. I'm not doing anything. Wait till the draft happens.
Yeah.
If you want to get out of here, you're just going to be our backup. I'm totally content in being our backup.
Yeah.
Now, if
What
he
happened
does,
to him going to Minnesota? I heard that was a thing.
how could he go back there?
Yeah.
No way. I think that's.
Well, he didn't they didn't fire. He left because of
I mean, he goes there. He's only playing 1 year there.
Yeah.
McCarthy. He's gonna.
I'm not sure that kid's ready though. I mean,
He's not ready. He may
didn't
not be
play
ready.
at all last
He
year.
may not be ready this year, but he is the starter.
he got hurt in preseason.
Yeah.
So we don't know a damn thing about him.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Steelers make a run for Cousins, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they got to give up a bunch. I mean, I think the Falcons might get if you can get a 4th rounder.
Sure.
I mean, they would like to do something prior to the draft, but they're not going to force themselves.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure that there's any reason to really rush with Rodgers here at this point.
No,
Pretty much all played out.
Let's play out
Yeah,
the draft.
exactly.
See what's going on.
Right. Yep.
You know, worst case scenario, you can always get them.
Yep.
You know, in my opinion.
They've met with Milroe. I've heard they've met with, some of the other quarterbacks that are coming out. Certainly Dart, right? So I don't know how serious that is, or if they're just sort of,
I just think I think we're going to have a quarterback come out of this draft that we didn't think was going to be very good. I think it's weak otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's that going to be? I think it's Dart, honestly.
I like
As much as, that.
I think he's quarterback. I think he's NFL ready.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yep.
Now, you just got to go to the right team. Milroe, I love him, but if someone takes him before the third round,
Sure.
that's desperation.
But he's looking for a quarterback, though. No growing trees. So,
But that's far go back to though, like our college teams developing quarterbacks to go in the NFL,
right.
or do the NFL teams need to start drafting quarterbacks and let them sit for 8 to 16 games and learn? Green Bay's proved that it works. Guys, you're like a team like the Falcons. You keep going after quarterbacks and you can't fucking get it right. I think they have it right now, but you don't know. So, well, we'll have our big draft special.
We are.
We'll do a big round table.
I love it.
We'll do it on a Saturday. Well, no, Mitch said he could do either Tuesday or Thursday too. What else? Anything else good to talk about? I mean, you see any Teslas blowing up today or on fire?
I didn't see any on fire. My brother bought one, though. I told you that.
So
he lives outside New York City, and obviously, the political landscape in New York, depending on where you live,
right,
can be very drastic one way or the other. He did say that when he went to the dealership to cut the deal, he's leasing it, of course. He's always leasing.
Well, the lease is a like ridiculous deal.
Yeah, he said. I mean, what he wrote to me about it, I was like, wow, that's that sounds like he really, really got a good deal on it. He said the dealership was
busy
out the door. Like you couldn't even get in there to talk to a salesman, right? And he'd already talked to somebody. So he was actually, I think, there to pick it up or kind of make the final arrangements. He said it was absolutely crazy. Conversely, there was, a bunch of protesters in the parking lot. So it's like a bunch of folks there to buy it, a bunch of folks there to scream at them for buying it. So
their earnings came
crazy.
out. Their deliveries are way down.
Yep.
I mean, not surprised.
Well, I heard not in China this week. I heard that they had an incredible run in China, which is amazing because, China makes their own, obviously they have their own.
Yeah, they got some brands. But so a buddy of mine went to high school with, just got a Tesla.
Yep.
He said, one, he likes car, but $299 a month lease.
Wow. Yeah.
You can't lease a car, even like the cheapest car for that.
Yeah. My brother said it was $420 a month, but nothing down.
But he probably got.
And they rolled the taxes.
Which one did he get? Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
The Y, the S, I don't know what it was. They all look the same.
Now the Y, the new one, they did a redesign. They've
Yeah.
already sold all those out.
Yeah.
Not even out yet. So
I don't think it was a Y. Then.
I mean, at the end of the day,
well, for him, it's perfect. I mean, look, I don't bash EVs if somebody wants to buy them. I just get concerned when people are trying to force it on you, right? Well, that's a different conversation. But
no, I'm with
for
you.
folks like my brother, who's a commuter to New York City, who's got like a 4-mile drive back and forth every day,
And he's lease, that's perfect lease.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Low mileage is, and then he'll tool around and go, on weekends or take an occasional trip or whatever, not too far away, obviously, because you got to worry about charging it and all that stuff. And he lives in the winter in
Well, that's true.
New York.
That battery life will go in half.
At battery life, and I don't know where he's going to park that thing, and how it's going to do in the snow, and how what kind of distance are you actually going to get out of a Tesla in, when it's 5 degrees?
Well, that's why they have a gas car.
Yeah, they're good. I
So
mean,
they'll be fine.
for him, it's perfect. It's not his only car. It's his commuter car. So, he's excited about it. And I was like, all right, cool.
You can drive without touching it.
Yeah, I'm going to go up there in June.
I've been reading articles how people are in the car for 8 hours and then touch the steering wheel.
Well, my car does that.
You have to touch the steering wheel, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's illegal to not touch the steering wheel.
No.
You have to do it in most states. And that's why cars will remind you. Now, they can't get away with just saying you don't have to touch the wheel.
I think in Texas, they don't have to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that there's some.
Taxis.
I'm sure there's some states that don't have to, but I think by law, they have.
I mean, think about it. I mean, I don't advocate this, but like, man, just think you were at the bar.
Look, man, it's super cool. I mean, mine, I'll just set it and literally my feet are off. It's not like, the old days when you still had to steer the car.
Yeah.
Now it literally, you do the lane
and
thing.
It straightens up for you.
It straightens you up and it goes around turns and you're kind of doing the whole thing. You can really kind of
What you got? What are you driving?
The Genesis.
We got to plug the Genesis.
Genesis, the GV70, baby. 2024. Love that thing.
It is.
It's a great car.
The White Knight.
The White Knight, super luxurious,
Beautiful.
right? It's got a great. I mean, I bought the 4, but it's like 300 horsepower, so it's got some giddy up, and it's super
And it's
comfortable.
roomy.
It's roomy. I absolutely love that car.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to, for like we're going to North Carolina this week, right? We're gonna go up for a trip. It is 465 miles, and I will definitely, as soon as you get out of civilization, right? Onto 20. We're gonna go 20 to 95, right?
Right.
I will definitely use that, and it saves your knees. I don't know about you, man, but I can't do it like I used to. Drive 8, 10 hours, obviously I have to stop at least once, but even that, like my knees get like sore, just, my ankles get sore.
Anything over 6, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just fly.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Right. This is about just 7, I think, just under 7 or right around 7. So,
Yeah. Looking
yeah.
for your retirement home.
It could be. We're looking at the coast there. Different spot this time, but
It's cold there, right?
I mean, yeah, it's coastal, right? It's beautiful in the summer, and I mean, we're not getting snow or anything, but a little bit north of here.
I mean, we got some crazy shit happening. It's fucking 89 tomorrow.
I know it's nuts.
For
The
Friday.
heat wave in Atlanta, right? It is April 3rd today or 2nd.
Second. On Friday, it'll be 89 for the opening day
Yep.
in Atlanta.
And last year, opening day was like 50 and
Remember, we were
freezing.
freezing. Windy, rainy a
It
little
was
bit.
awful. It was awful.
Uh,
So get this. We bought winter hats for a couple
game?
months ago for the game, just in case, right? So
Yeah.
we got them logoed and blah,
Should've
blah, blah.
bought tank tops.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the marketing department's a little pissed. They were like, "Oh Jesus, what? Well, we'll give
You
away."
can still have them.
Yeah, we'll use them for a golf tournament or some
But then-
some winter event. We do a lot of hunting
But
stuff.
Monday's like 62.
It goes
Yeah.
right after the weekend, right? I think even Saturday into Sunday is going to get cold.
I hope it's good weather for where you're going. But like next week, it's going to be not bad, but it's going to be a little cool.
5-2 Braves. That's the update.
Yeah, let's check out the.
Elder still pitching?
Yeah. Next week we got 88 on Friday,
Yep.
87 on Saturday. Oh, it's pouring on Sunday.
Yep.
And it's 60.
Yep.
And then it starts building back up. You'll be in.
Yeah.
So the weather will be good for you.
It's just a little cooler there than it will be here, but yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So, all right, what do you want to do? We normally do our rapid fire. I mean, shit.
Branch out a little bit on snacks, maybe
Cashews,
right?
almonds,
Some of the other nut fam. Let's talk nuts then, right?
pecans. Yeah.
When you get the mixed thing of nuts?
I like
we
the
all do,
pecans.
the pecans. See,
Yeah.
I like the Brazil nuts.
Those are good. Those are super healthy for you.
Yes, but I'm also told, this is crazy, that they have like arsenic in them or something, and if you eat too many Brazil nuts, you can actually die. Somebody look that up. I think that's facts.
Dude.
Brazil nuts. And Brazil nuts are one of those ones that are like super hard to get open. It comes in this like crazy
Yeah.
shell thing.
Nah.
I assume they're from Brazil. I don't know. Maybe they were native of Brazil at some point. But that's why there's so few in a mixed thing.
You're right. It makes sense then.
Where you get mixed nuts, you only get a few of those Brazil nuts. But boy, you find one of those things,
It's
when I'm digging around the bottom, absolute gold. Or you know what else I like? Which
Very
again, if you
good.
get the really fancy ones, they're in there too.
They're
So
expensive.
macadamia's a round, right?
Expensive.
Hawaiian.
I love
good.
that. I don't disagree. I like a cashew, solid cashew.
Cashews I'm not crazy about. Almonds I like.
Almonds are good. I love pecans.
Yeah.
So good. Walnuts, slightly salted. Money.
Where are you getting walnuts from? Like, that's like the baking section, but like,
I know.
they don't put walnuts in like.
No, but you can. I like them. We make
Yeah,
those.
but damn it, you have to go to the
Elizabeth sometimes makes up her own mix. Delicious. I like to eat those.
walnuts
Yeah.
and like pecans or pecans, whatever you want.
I'm a big pecan.
Yeah, like pecan pie. But
Pecan pie is not my loving thing. I just like eating the pecan.
I'm not going after those big ones.
But this is not in the mixed nuts. Pistachios, bro.
Yes.
Demolish them.
Yes.
Salt and pepper ones you buy them at Costco. Money.
Yeah. They're good. Expensive though.
That's why you buy them at Costco.
Yeah.
You buy them at friggin' Publix or Kroger. Outrageous.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to check out the farmers market when we go. Maybe they sell them.
Yeah. We should branch out and just start doing, because look, we all like nuts, right? Love some nuts, but
Sunflower seeds. So I was in a store today.
Yeah.
So there's a brand called Smackin'.
I'm seeing it.
So young kid
Yep.
did it. I mean, he's
Yeah.
maybe 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm a purist. I don't necessarily want all those flavors. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all these different flavors,
Sure.
dill and blah,
Yeah.
jalapeno, and I just like the normal, like buying the
What you
David's.
got? Give me the top three.
David's.
Top three. I know you love sunflower seeds.
I like David's jumbo. Right.
What about bigs?
Bigs aren't bad, and then I like that. There's this little skinny one. Yeah, I can demolish them, and
Yeah.
I usually like on a road trip. I buy like 4 of them
Where do you go? What do you do with the shells? Spit them in a cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not eating the shells.
No,
People,
of course not.
but there's people who fucking eat the shells.
Crazy.
But they're not a real eat. They're not
Talk
real.
about shredding yourself.
Oh.
My God.
And then it's like it's in your gums.
That's ridiculous.
You know, every once in a while you do one wrong. You're like, fuck, that hurts.
No.
I mean, I buy the big bag ones at Publix.
But salt and pepper. Right.
And I like salt and pepper. I do like Old Bay.
The Old Bay one's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Absolutely. Old
But
Bay.
otherwise, I don't.
Ranch, pizza.
I don't like any of them. No, not my thing. But I think Owen likes all those flavors.
I think so. I think the pickle I like dill pickle.
I'd just rather just have a dill pickle.
True. I do love pickles.
I mean, yeah, the spears.
See, I'm like a half sour guy. I like the whole pickle, like a solid one.
I like the
crisp and
already.
If they're warm, don't even bring.
No, they got
Do not even bring.
They got to be cold, bro.
Got to be cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't like now. There's like hot pickles.
With wait a minute, my boss loves these, and
Why is this?
I have a jar in my refrigerator. Oh, God, what's the matter? Wickles. Wickles. They make them in different temperatures. Wickles. Yes, it's a brand. They sell them at I think all the major grocery stores. And we go to a place. He's an Auburn guy. He's got a lake house over there. And we go to a place on the way over there, and they have fried Wickles instead of fried pickles, and they are.
You ever had fried spam?
No, like deep fried spam.
It's pretty good.
So what happened this weekend? Speaking of deep fried, here's the story. He and I go to the bar, right, the dive bar here that we've been going to a little bit. Shalini knows the spot.
Monkey.
And we go in there, and the waiter or the bartenders, 2 of them, start pulling out a box. It was their dinner time, I guess. They pull out a box.
Uncrustable.
Uncrustables. Like, the peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Crust.
Solid.
They are solid. I mean, it's a fan favorite around sports teams because they're easy to travel. You can bring them to the beach. You can bring them to the ball games, whatever.
Yeah.
So they bring those out. They're going to start eating those. And I said, hey, you ever deep fry those? And I know that's the thing.
They're like, what?
They were like mind blown. Like, what is going on? You can deep fry, as a kid, deep fry anything, Twinkie, whatever, all sorts of shit. So they, like, literally, right back in the box, scurry back to the kitchen, come out, and it's like, la, there it is.
And they didn't share it, though.
And then share it. I told
you didn't even get credit,
so
really.
she's eating one away and just like absolutely.
Sarah or Anna?
And she has just found her new favorite thing on the planet, right? But yeah, I was thinking, hey, a little something for the idea guy here, right? And can I get a bite at least?
Nothing.
Maybe cut me off a little sliver, something.
But the potato skins and the mozzarella sticks hit the mark.
Well, after 5 or 6 pitchers of Miller Lite and a couple of games of Golden Tea, yeah, we needed something to help soak that up.
Solid.
So, but yeah, that's the thing, right? So deep fried. What's the weirdest thing you ever had deep fried? Besides, you ever have a deep fried Snickers? I've heard that's pretty good. Well, I think you have to dunk it. You have to put it in batter. Like these carnival shows you go to, you see on TV on the Food Channel and stuff. They're always deep frying. Just crazy.
What's the thing at the carnival? The powdered sugar.
Oh, it's just powdered dough.
Cake, the cake. What are they called?
Yeah.
Funnel cake.
Funnel cake. Yeah. Funnel cake.
I mean,
when I was a kid, though, we used to put, because we lived in a very Italian, Irish town, they had them, and you put pizza sauce on them and cheese. They call it pizza frites. You ever heard that before?
No.
It's crazy. Everybody at home who's watching this has had at St. Catherine's Fair has had a pizza frite, and it's the same thing. It's basically a funnel cake, but you put cheese and Italian sauce.
Big fan.
It's delicious.
I love the smell of funnel cake. You know it, like you're at a fair, wherever. Sometimes at those arts and crafts festivals they have, you can smell it. I'm going to end on this. We went to, after golf, we went to Woody's Cheesesteak.
We did.
Square. Pretty very famous in Atlanta. They got one in town. I thought it was pretty good. I'm like, next time I'm going to order extra cheese.
Yep.
I got mushrooms on mine.
Yep. I just went with the classic, the traditional one. The fries, though, those wedges.
The wedges were money. I think it's a cool spot, but when it's not raining, we're eating outside because you can't sit.
That little green space behind it is pretty cool. Like sharing with all those restaurants there. So that's kind of
good spot. Marietta Square. They're really stepping up the game there.
Yep.
They've got a lot of new restaurants, and Looking forward to it. I need to get some good days down there. So,
Yep.
All right, Ted, what do?
We drank
We snack
and we repeat.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.
Adios.